I know. I still have a lot of content to do on Details of the Valiant Monster Vault, and yet here I am talking about its follow-up. Hi there, fellow role gamers and playmasters. My name is Mr. Tarask, and this is the Tales of the Valiant Monster Vault 2 preview. Yes, I've just started doing content on the Monster Vault of Tales of the Valiant. A few weeks ago in 2024, I did my second or third video on this book, and I want to cover way more monsters from this book on my channel very soon. But already, Kobold Press is dropping another Kickstarter, which is live right now. You can go to the link in the description below. They already collected, like, I don't know, a shit ton of money out of the shit ton of money that they were trying to collect. They collected a lot more, so it is coming, and the preview is actually pretty damn cool. So I wanted to just, like, jump in and quickly talk about this preview, because there's a few things in here that I really like. It is... really quickly, what is Tales of the Valiant? It's Kobold Press's very own tabletop RPG based on the 5th edition rules of Dungeons & Dragons, meaning that everything Tales of the Valiant is always compatible with 5th edition. A lot of people have been asking me in my comment section, like, oh, how do I convert this, and how do I convert that, and how do I convert that? Answer is... you don't convert it, because it just works. I don't know, maybe it's like some specific stuff for your game needs to be converted because you handle stuff differently, but in a general sense, Tales of the Valiant is just 5th edition, but done in a Kobold Press manner, and they're doing it pretty damn good. Now, if you want to grab this preview PDF for yourself, link description below to the Kickstarter page. Back to Kickstarter if it's for you. Don't back to Kickstarter if it's not for you. But there's a few things in here that I want to address, that I want to talk about, because I find it pretty damn cool. So I didn't take a look at the Kickstarter page or whatever information that was out there on the second Monster Vault before they went live, because there's so much on my plate in terms of third-party 5th edition stuff that I need to check out and review and stuff, that I only tend to check out stuff that's actually out or that is actually happening, and I don't go into like that preview stuff, that early information stuff, because I just don't, anybody got time for that, right? So, yeah, there's a few things that I find very cool, and the first thing is the field guide to monster harvesting. Now, if they raise enough money as a stretch goal, everybody who backs for, I don't know, $29 US or $30 US or something like that, gets a field guide to monster harvesting, and I think that is pretty damn cool. It's a Kobold Press way of, so you killed the monster, now what? What do you do with those monster parts? You want to craft potions and items from an aboleth slime or unicorn horns. Want to enhance your gear with ghoul and antenna or dragon scales, that kind of stuff, is the field guide to monster harvesting, which I think is only going to be a PDF, not a physical, but I really like that that is a stretch goal, and I really want to see what Kobold Press is doing with that. Now, deeper into the, let me see if you guys can still see this. Yes, so deeper into the Monster Vault 2. And as you can see, they already have like the entire index. Well, I guess it's the entire index of what is coming right here. And there is a lot of, so the Monster Vault, the second one, seems to be all about... like, I don't know if they say it here somewhere, but it's all about discover fun ways for running monstrous villains, including blah 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 blah. So it's all about, like, there's a lot of undead and that kind of stuff in here, like ghouls and vampires and that kind of stuff in the book, like demons and yeah, just that kind of ghouls right here. There is a lot of that, like, really dark type of stuff in here, so it really feels like a second book on top of the first one, if you know what I mean. Now, there is a few cool monsters in here, and the first one that I want to talk about, no, the first thing that I want to talk about really quickly is the monster bundles. I really like this. It's nothing new, it's nothing special. Kobold Press is, again, like I always say, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel, they're just trying to make a proper working wheel. That's the thing that they're doing, and they're doing it very damn well. So they're actually going to offer, in the second book, they're going to offer monster bundles, and these are basically like preset groups of monsters that work together and that you can put together in your dungeon, your environment, the castle, or whatever, wherever you're playing, and you need a group of monsters for that team. and that level of play, you can grab that from a monster bundle. But where other books stop right there, right? They're like, okay, here's just a group of monsters you can use in this situation. Here's a group of monsters you can use in the mountainous situation. This is in the underwater combat, maybe in a keep, an old abandoned keep, or in a dungeon, or whatever, right? In the forest, in the swamp, whatever. So what Kobold Press does is like, they do the same with their random rolling tables in a lot of their books. They actually put like some lore and even like campaign or story seeds into this, and that is what I really like. So one of these monster bundles, I think there's 2 or 3 examples in the preview PDF, is a Forged Lord. So this is about a dwarven mechanist who started creating like these weird mechanical creatures, which are basically the Gear Forged, right? So they became super dangerous, so he got exiled from his people, so he started doing it in like a dungeon or whatever, started creating these creatures, and he also started changing himself. So he then became so the mechanist began to improve upon its own body, becoming a Forged Lord. So what they do here is they already have like a seed, a story, a campaign hook that you either use or you don't use, right? But you can just place that into your campaign. Then you just go to the tier that you're playing, so tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4, and you just read whatever is happening. So let's say your players are level 6. So, okay, that's tier 2. The Forged Lord uses the statistics of a dwarf high mechanist. Mechanist. So this is in bold, meaning it's in the it's in this book, in the Monster Vault 2. If there is this little, what is the name of this? This little star thingy, right? It is in the first Monster Vault. So a lot of these things, you need the first Monster Vault in order to use all of these monster bundles, right? And works out of a massive forge within the mountain's home. Oh, this is tier 1. Doesn't matter. 3 clockwork watchmen act as personal guards. Then 2 robot wardens act as lieutenants, and blah 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 blah. Then there's scouts there. There's dupladrons in enacting the Forged Lord plan. There isn't this entire thing on how these creatures work together in order to form this group, and why those creatures are in a group. It's not just like, oh, you're in a mountain, you're 5 dinosaurs and an ogre, right? And you as a game master need to come up with that, which is fun in its own right? I love that. Like, here's 5 dinosaurs and like 5 velociraptors or Deinonychus and an ogre. Work it out yourself as a game master. That's fun, but this is also fun. Reading this and doing your own thing with it is also a lot of fun, and it just really cuts out on some of the like improvisation, last minute kind of stuff that you need to do for your game while you're at the table, right? When your players take an unexpected left turn, there's always the Dungeon of the Forged Lord. You can just grab and put right there, right? So that's a really cool thing. They also have one, Invasion from the Sea. It always has like a team. This one says underwater, ghoul, merfolk, and sahagins, which is a word that I always murder. Sahagins. And this one said teams mountain, clockwork, mechadrons, and robots, right? So yeah, I really think this is something. It's not nothing new. Pre-generated monster groups are a thing and have been a thing for a long time, but just the way Kobold Press does it, it's just really well done. Then there is the first creature in the PDF, which is the Adamantine Dragon, and I think this artwork is really good. They really nailed this one, and I absolutely love it. Now, there's only one stat block for the Adamantine Dragon in here, the CR17 one, so that's the adult one, so there isn't a wormling in here, there isn't like an ancient one in here, no in-betweener, which is something they're doing in their final book, I guess, because they're doing it in all of their other books, where they have multiple stat blocks for one type of dragon. Now, although they don't have that, they have a few really cool things here. So what it has is, it is a dragon, right? So it has a frightful presence, it has an adamantine body, which is really cool. Any critical hit against the dragon becomes a normal hit, and the dragon deals double damage to objects. In addition, it can burrow through solid rock at half its burrowing speed. But something very cool that it still also has. Also, it has, of course, a breath weapon, needle breath, which is just a breath weapon, but then it does piercing damage, a shit ton of piercing damage. 11d12 piercing damage, which is really cool if you roll 11d12. Piercing damage on a failed save. It has a crushing breath as the adamantine dragon wormling, except it is set 60-foot cone, DC 22, and the bludgeoning damage is 1d10. But there is no wormling in here, so you don't really know exactly what that is. So I might have to take a guess at that, what that exactly is. But the cool thing here is all of the dragons from Kobold Press, from their books for Tales of the Valiant, have always like one special thing to them. And this one is Unstoppable Blows. When the adamantine dragon hasn't unleashed its needle breath, its body accumulates adamantine. Which I don't really know what that means. I know what adamantine is, but how do you accumulate adamant? Anyway, that might be a lore thing that I didn't read or whatever. I don't know. While the dragon's needle breath is available, its attacks ignore the armor class granted by magical or non-magical armor worn by a target when determining if its attacks hit against that target. Now, the first sentence is when the adamantine hasn't unleashed its needle breath. So at first I thought, cool, like for the entire encounter until you use your needle breath, this unstoppable blows kind of thing works. But it's more than that, because then they say, while the dragon's needle breath is available, its attacks ignore the armor class granted by armor. Which means that if you start an encounter, you go into an encounter, you fight with unstoppable blows, so everybody who's wearing armor isn't wearing armor anymore, right? So they're might as well fighting butt naked against the dragon, right? So the dragon is fighting them, and then it uses its needle breath. The unstoppable blows thing goes away, right? Everybody gets their armor back, essentially, which I don't know where and how that makes sense. But just from a mechanical point, I think it is really interesting and really cool for a game master to explore, because then if you recharge your needle breath, so you roll a 5 or a 6 in your turn, you recharge this, you then get unstoppable blows back. So I think this is a really cool tactical thing the dragon, i.e. you as a game master, can use in combat. Like, when are you going to use your needle breath? Because you might have, like, maybe you're fighting, I don't know, a few wizards. They don't have armor, so the unstoppable blows isn't that strong against those wizards. But against a fighter who relies on freaking armor, like a paladin who relies on freaking armor, and you have a party with like 2 fighters and a paladin, then it becomes really strong not to use your needle breath. So, and if you use a dragon as a game master, it's always, to my opinion, the only way to use a dragon and the only way to play a dragon, at least especially an adult dragon, is to play it completely maxed out. A dragon, this one has an intelligence of +3 and a wisdom of +11. So it's smart, it knows how to fight, and it's always going to fight to win. It's going to stay in the air, it's going to only land when it has its breath weapon available, it's going to only land to dish out, to smack out some hits against the fighter or whatever. It's going to optimize the way it fights. And this stat block for me really utilizes that part of the game where the game master can really choose to fight this fight super smartly. And I think that is absolute proper design on dragons in general for Tales of the Valiant, because I've been talking about the dragons in the first Monster Vault, and the cool thing is Kobold Press has like dragons the way we know and love them. Like, the stat blocks are always like, they have the frightful presence, they have a breath weapon, they have a special weapon, they have like legendary actions, a wing attack, a tail attack, that kind of stuff we know and love from a dragon. And then they have this one very specific special ability that ties into the kind of dragon that they are, and I really like that, and I really am in love with the adamantine dragon, a creature that I'm going to absolutely use. Now, other than that, I advise you to download the free PDF for yourself, because there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. A lot of like different types of creatures in here, which is really cool for a preview PDF, because this means you can just download this for free, and there's a lot of monsters in here that you can actually use. The Duskcloak, for example, which is a flying shadow manta ray cloak kind of thing, which is really cool. Like the idea and the concept of it. There's some freaky monsters in here. There's this cool dude in here. There's this dude in here. So yeah, there's just like a lot of awesome stuff for a preview PDF. It is actually packed with a lot of monsters that you can just actually start using in your game. So make sure to head over to the Kickstarter page if you're interested. If not, if you're not interested, fine by me. Don't back it. If you're interested, back it. And until next video, bye-bye.